Hello everybody, an update and probably take you along on a few more steps on this Whiscombe stock repair. I decided to go with 3/16" diameter unless the holes become so large that I can get a 1/4 inch in there and have things line up, but I kind of doubt it. I'm really pretty sure I'm going with 3/16". I got a extended drill bit. It's got 9.5 inches or so of drill rod on it. I often use drill bits, extended drill bits for the drill rod part of it. It's easy, inexpensive, convenient. You know, it's at the hardware store all day. It's an easy way to get small sections of drill rod for projects. And so I'm planning on there being an inch on either side, so 2-inch long pieces. I've got a mark there. Next step, I'm going to go cut a couple of these pieces off because I've got 2 holes done. I thought I'm going to get one side all set up and ready, and then I'll work on the other side and drill its holes and get it all set up and ready, and then we'll glue one side and then we'll glue the other. That's kind of the plan we're going with right now. To locate these holes, and please people, if you know a trick for this, leave it in the comments. I do get it that I could have drilled 2 holes and cut a piece of rod and put a point on it, cut it just so it barely pokes up, and then put the broken piece on there and poke little holes where they go. But that just seemed like so much extra time and the challenge of getting the rod just the right length. I was like, you know what, I just don't want to take that much time, and so I eyeballed it. So what I did is I used an awl, and I picked 2 places kind of in a meaty part of the wood, make sure I'm showing you, and poked little starter holes, and then I just held this up there and sighted off of some features. So like this hole kind of lined up with the bottom of that piece of inletting and was just a little bit off of this piece of inletting, so I had some kind of visual reference. And same thing here, I got the trigger guard inletting here, kind of lines up over there. So I used some of those visual cues, held it up there and made a good guess and just poked it with confidence. Sometimes that has amazing results to just move with confident motion. And it came real close. I didn't expect them to be perfect, and they're not. So then I opened them up with a carbide burr and a Dremel and I cut a little piece of aluminum rod that's it's probably 1/8 inch, or I'm not sure what it is, but it's a little bit smaller than 3/16. It was just a convenient piece of material to stick in there. The holes were shallower at the time, and get them get the holes hogged out with the carbide bit until it was fairly well lined up on each hole, and then using that hogged out hole as a new drill bit diameter, which not this one, actually it's in the drill, and not this one either, but using that hogged out hole as a new diameter for a drill bit, then use that larger drill bit to drill down. And then what I did, because you sure don't want to, it's very difficult to drill a hole in a piece of material, and if you're looking down on it this way, you can be straight this direction, but you can think you're straight in this direction and you'll be off by a mile. It's amazing how far off one can be. So after I drilled the initial little starter hole and opened it up, and then went up to the next size drill bit, as I went in, and I marked the drill bit, here, why don't I use the real one? I marked the drill bit with Sharpie at 1 inch, how far I wanted to go down. And I did that by running the drill at a slow speed and just touching the Sharpie there. So as I drilled in there, I drilled a little bit looking at it down from the top and a little bit from the sides, and just tried to keep it pretty square, and it's still not really perfectly. But next I'm going to get the 2-inch steel rods cut and stick them in the holes, and now we'll be heading towards the final adjustments, and hopefully I don't have to do much hogging out, although in a sense it doesn't hurt because it's going to be filled with glass reinforced epoxy resin, but I do want there to be as much wood around it as possible, and things are pretty thin here. But I think this is looking pretty good. You may not think so because of the hogged out look of the holes, but I'm pretty happy with how it's coming so far. So I'm going to go to the angle grinder, I'm going to nip off a couple of pieces of the rod, make some final adjustments on this, then I'm going to go over and do the other side, and when there's something interesting to show you, I'll cut back in. Alright, well, I'll turn the camera on just to show you something interesting. So I got these two metal rods cut, 2 inches long. Got them put in those holes and stuck them in these 2 holes, and lo and behold, it appears to be perfect. I may decide to do some tiny adjustment, but right now, I don't know if you can see that. Let me hold this up a little differently. A little challenging. Yep. But I do indeed find a spot where it fits. So that side's done. Like I said, before I use glue, don't be too surprised if I do some tiny adjustments to give myself a little extra clearance or something. And I have a lot of thinking to do about how we're going to do that step. But right now I don't have to worry my pretty little head about it, because I'm going to work on getting the holes done on the other side. And this side's a little more challenging because it's got an extra chip of wood that's broken. And I'm kind of thinking about gluing that on first. Yep, now that I'm looking at it, I think I'll glue this first, and I'll use aliphatic resin glue, which I believe is stronger. It's really the better wood glue than epoxy. We have no choice about the other joint. It is going to be epoxy. It is what it is. It will be strong, but I do believe that aliphatic resin glue is stronger. I use it where I can. In some repairs, I have even been very judicious with, let me get in the window here, been very judicious with how much glass-filled epoxy resin I put in the holes so it doesn't squirt out too much, and use aliphatic resin around the edge, but you need a lot of wood in order to do that. Here we're just not going to have any choice. It's going to be epoxied on, but it's going to be fine. It'll be strong. But I do think I'll do this with aliphatic resin. And so that means in fact, I think I'll tape it. Maybe with electrical tape because it's stretchy, so you can put a little bit of tension on it. And that'll take a half hour to cure enough that I can continue working. So I'm going to do that, and I will check back in when I got something interesting, which is probably going to be when I've got these holes drilled, pins cut, and it's done and fit, because I'm not going to have anything more to say about that set of operations that I didn't already say. So I will check back with you. Today is my 60th birthday, so I may not spend every minute working, but for the most part, I don't have anything else to do. So I will check in with you all later.